Everybody, it's Omar. It's Saturday, St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 11:10 a.m. in the morning, and I want to make a video just simply reviewing my plays and talking about trading psychology and just looking at the stocks that were on the watch list and just seeing how they reacted to support and resistance. Um, excuse me. For those of you that are watching me for the first time, I have a YouTube channel. Let me just go to, just put it up. Actually, if you just write my name on Google, I think it'll just link you to my YouTube. Yeah, so here's my YouTube channel. I'm 20 subscribers short to 1,000. That's pretty cool. So here are all my videos, guys. I got over 100 videos at this point. And in this if you want to, like, if you know nothing about trading, like, go here and just watch all these videos. Especially this one gives you like the foundation to trading, gives you pretty much everything you need to kind of understand how trading works. And then I have like a catalog of videos that kind of just talk about trading long and short and all that kind of stuff, and then you can kind of see how I evolved as a trader over the year and a half that I've been trading now, or close to a year and a half, I think. How I kind of went from using not like a lot of indicators to like basically no indicators. And then I have a Twitter, and usually what I do is before I leave to work, if I see anything, I'll put a chart. And FEYE. Well, what I did was I posted my watch list yesterday morning. I didn't make a video the night before. I didn't post a watch list the night before. I was just tired. I did it. I'm not gonna do this every single day, guys. There'll be periods of time where I won't do this for weeks or even months. But right now I've been pretty consistent. Here these were the stocks that I put on the watch list. I told everyone to map your support and resistance levels. And and then put the alerts on so that when it hits the stock, you can you get an alert to your phone and on the chart so that you could potentially make a play. And then I posted this stock FEYE, caught this gapper on my Thinkorswim scanner, immediately drew my support resistance lines on the chart, set my alerts, and reviewed the chart history. Right now I'm prepared to make a trade if when the opportunity presents itself. So I mapped it out for you, nice and easy, right? I mapped this out. This was like literally right before I went to work. Really quickly, I just boom, 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 knocked this out real fast. And then I posted this. Now it took some time to get in, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about FEYE first, and then I'll talk about all the other stocks. So you can see I had posted this. At this point, the stock was at 1860 when I posted this, and then later on it was at 1820. Now let's talk about FEYE. So FEYE, right? As you can see, so when you get a stock that ramps up pre-market like this, where it's up a few points, at the open, you're usually gonna get a wash. All right. A lot of times when you get these, they're called gap and craps, where a stock will gap up on some bullshit news, or shorts covering, or whatever the case may be, and then it just kind of like goes back down, And so, somebody asked me on Twitter, how did you know it was gonna tank? I said, I didn't. I mean, nobody ever really knows, but there's a couple of things that made me think that potentially this was gonna tank. So, one, that it gapped up really high, and you see how it has this gap to fill in the chart. Sometimes you get these gap fills, sometimes like even a gap fill within the same day like this, sometimes the gap has to come back down and fill it. Doesn't always, not always a guarantee, but that happens. Now, a couple of things were going on, right? When it hit its high, it starts consolidating sideways, and then it starts dipping below, and it's holding that 1891 level, but this is VWAP. It's below VWAP, and you see it's testing VWAP. It can't break VWAP. And the simple 50, this is the 50-day simple moving average. It's it can't break above it, So, the market opens, and I had key support levels here, right? So I had a key support level here at 1872. And how did I get that? I just mapped it out. So let me zoom out for you guys. I just mapped it out based on the previous day's chart, So that's it. I just saw that there was key right here was a key. It touched 1872 and pulled back yesterday. So, you know, I mapped it out. So to me, that's a key level to keep an eye out on. So market opens, right? Market opens, and in this candle, this is like they call this a gravestone doji. Sometimes when a stock is like, you know, going in one direction for too long, that means it's the sign it's ready to go in another direction. Other times it's just, you know, it's just an indecision candle where the stock doesn't know where it wants to go. But what I noticed is, right, in this candle, it breaks below it, right? And then in these two candles, it gets that sideways consolidation. But you see, the candle, for me, in order for it to be bullish, I need to see it close above the support level or resistance level, depending on where it's above or below. And then I need to see volume to have a change in bias. But because it touched VWAP, and in that next candle, you see it's continuing to sell off, I knew that I could go short, and I shorted. It was that simple, guys. That's it. It's below VWAP. You got some selling pressure here. You know, there's not a lot of buying pressure going on, and all I did was just take it down. You know, and then you see you have this key support level here, 1842, right? You got this strong selling. Now it's below VWAP, and now this is the simple 200-day moving average. Now it's below that too. So those are all signs that it's continuing to be bearish. Now, let me zoom out here so you can see. So as it comes down, right, it consolidates down, and right into this, you get this little pop. But in that next candle, it continued to go red. So, you know, in this candle, I didn't think that it was going to continue to go up. So I actually added to my position short. And sure enough, you know, it continues to gap down. It's showing me more weakness. You see how you get these green candles, but then followed by red candles? Those are pops. And that's just people covering slightly or add, you know, into their positions. But short sellers see the weakness and they continue to add more shares to short. And then, you know, you got this quick pop where it gapped up. But that's nothing. That's just shorts covering some of their position. Now, this is a simple 300-day moving average. So now it's below even the 300-day moving average. So it's below all the moving averages. And forget about the moving averages. Just look at the key level here. 1842, right, was another key level, right? It had a lot of volume here to hold that support Thursday. So that's telling me that, you know, if it can't hold that it's going to continue to go down in price. And when you look at the stock chart, you know, it touched that, but like, again, you don't have you see how the body of the candle is not holding above that area? You see how it just gapped up, and in this area it closed back below it? That is telling me that it's still bearish. All right, so, you know, so I just held through all this. You know, I just held through this. Now this price here, this 1812 level, is the previous day's close price. So that line in itself is always going to act as a line of support, just so you know. And you notice it kind of gaps down here, and, you know, it kind of like, you feel 1810 was another support level. If you noticed here, it taps it here, 1810, you know, and then it kind of starts gapping up, and then you got a little squeeze here for a moment, and you could have dip bought it at this point, because if you notice, 1810, I had it mapped out from yesterday's level. All right, so if I go back to yesterday, see, there was support here, 1810. You see, 1810. That's why I mapped it. All right, there was some level below it, and there was a lot of support here too, below it, 1806. But I liked this point because it literally like touched it and then took off. That's why, to me, I use that as a key level to map and put an alert on, you know, and it touched that. Now, what was interesting, right, was that you could have, let me zoom in here, you could have bought it in this key level, right, and took it for a quick little dip buy, but you got to be careful. You see how it touches VWAP and it gets rejected by VWAP, and guess what? It continued to sell off. All right. Now, I actually covered in this spike here. So right into here, I covered. You know, I got executed. I think it was at like 1870. I think I got executed when I went short, and I covered. It was like about 18. I think it was like 1822. Is right when it like went above the. I think it was right here, like right when it went above the 50-day moving average. I covered. I mean, I could have waited and tested to see You know, if it was gonna reject VWAP and then went, and I should have, you know, but I was done. I traded three stocks. I made a lot of money. I was good. But yeah, this would have been an excellent entry to short once you see the rejection, and then you get that. If you see this and you get the pullback and you get the lower high here, you could have shorted right in here, risking VWAP. You know, and you see that in the next candle, it's showing a weakness, and you could have just took this down. So what also made me comfortable and thinking that this was going to fail was that it was an easy to borrow stock. That means everybody could short this, and that's why you got this big wash. You know, you got this big wash. But if you look, you know, that's what it is. You just play off the key support and resistance levels for potential entries and exits. That's all it is, guys. That's all stock trading is, guys. I actually, in real time, guys, if you go on my Twitter, you could have seen what I was doing. I was doing this as boredom and just to prove a point. Well, I talked about RXII. I posted this when it was at this five, it was a what, the 550, 560 level, and then I said it was looking for a move up, and look at what happened. The stock went to like 620. It tanked after that, but I saw the direction the stock was going in. But I want to talk about something even more important. We'll talk about AMTX, where I gave you another one. I mean, I gave you a whole bunch, but let's talk about, where was it? Yeah, it was here. DXR. I made almost $1,000 on this trade out of just boredom. So I'll show you why I knew that. I said DXR, right? I said, sir, DXR, right? If it can't hold 1280, looking to short. If it holds, looking for shorts to cover, the next thing down is 1235, then 1140, right? So, and I put by accident, I put DNR, but I meant to say DXR. I kept messing it up. Sorry about that, right? And then I put long at 1270 when I saw a higher lows forming at support of 1261 boredom scalp. And I said if DXR can get some volume, can go red, which I'm supposed to say red, sorry, red to green, break of 1335, maybe a nice squeeze. I'm being greedy because I should have took the profits, but look what happened. Fucking squeeze. I did all this in real time. Like, go look at the time. Before the squeeze happened, I was mapping this out on Twitter so all you guys can see. Now, how did I know? Now, obviously, nobody knows what a stock is going to do. But this is how I'll tell you how I felt comfortable thinking that this was going to happen. All right. So, right, I mapped out my support and resistance levels like I always do. Right. So here are my key support and resistance levels. This was Thursday's, you know, highs and, you know, key support and resistance levels. And then, you know, I'm looking to see what the stock is going to do. And, you know, it opens and then it does what it does right now. Okay. Now, what I wanted to show you guys here was here, right here. You see this 1280 level, right, was a clear support level, right? Let's go back at yet Thursday's chart. You see how I had a lot of support in this 1280 level? Here, let me put up 5 day. Let me put the 5 minutes so you can see it a lot easier. All right, you see how I had some support here at that 1280 level, right? So I'm looking at that now. This is midday, which is kind of the worst time to trade generally because that's when a lot of traders are out to lunch, not a lot of volume. It's harder to figure out where things happen. But I saw 1280 here, right? And I see that the stock, let me pull up back on the 1 minute. Right? I see in this 1280 level that the stock is kind of like, you know, bouncing up. And the spreads at this time are crazy too, guys. So, you know, normally stay away from this shit. But once you get real comfortable with looking at charts and looking at price action, you could start like, not predicting it, but you could kind of see where stock's going to go. And you could just make these simple scalp trades. So, right, it was holding this 1280 level. And it was going back and forth. So I'm like, you know, watching for potential entry. Watching, but you know, it's not a ton of volume, but there's volume in these candles. See 18,000 shares, 4,000, 20,000. You know, it's going up and down. I don't like the spreads. I'm not comfortable. So I saw it break below it, right? But what happened was I'm looking at the level 2 and I'm looking at the bid and the ask, and I don't see it basically breaking. The ask was at that 12, like 12, I think it was like at the 1280 level, and the bids were like in the 1260. So I didn't see it break below that. So you see it touches 1262 here, kind of gaps up to 12.7, 12.89, then gaps back down and touches 1262. So now I want to see what's going on, and right in this volume spike, I felt like, oh shit, like this thing, you know, it may potentially squeeze. So we'll see. So I see it gap up, right? And you know, I don't see it break above it. And then I see it gap down again. So, you know, it's breaking below 1280, but now the new clear support level is at 1261. So I want to see how it's going to react. So right when I saw it touch it hit a low of 1254, but again, the entire body of that candle has to be below 1261. Like, it has to close. Everything has to be below it. So in order for me to feel comfortable that it's now going to go down, and then I would have taken a short there. But because it didn't, I didn't feel comfortable. But I'm watching it, and right in this candle, when it broke above, this is where I decided to go long, because I felt at this point it tested this level enough to know that it could potentially move, and it got some volume here. You see the volume starting to come in. So I got in. I got in right in this candle. All right, I got in 1,000 shares, a simple 1,000 shares, and sure enough, look, it's starting to pull back. Now it's forming a higher low here. All right, you know, and this is again a boredom trade. I wouldn't normally recommend this, but because I knew that I had a clear support level here, and because the stock, right, the stock, if we look at, right, it opened up here at 17, it's tanking all day. You gotta think that short sellers are like, fuck, you know, it's holding support. Let me cover some of my shares. That's all I'm thinking. I'm thinking about trading psychology. So because of that, I knew that this was going to gap up, and sure enough, right in here I see a break, right, 13, and gaps up, but it can't break. This is the previous day's close price here. Now at this point, I'm like right here kind of figuring out what it's gonna do, and that's what I'm talking about in Twitter when I'm making that reference. Let me go back to Twitter. When I'm making that reference about, you know, where is it, right in here, where I'm saying if DXR can get some volume and go red to green, break of 37, maybe a nice squeeze. I'm being greedy now. I should have taken profit. Let's see what happens, because a good trader, in theory, I should have just taken the profit, because it's you know, it's midday. There's not a ton of volume. Let me pull it up on the big chart. There's not a ton of volume, and oops, where we go? There's not a ton of volume here, and you're not sure. But I saw that right in here when it broke that 1308 level. I see that it doesn't want to like break down, right? It doesn't want to break 13, and I saw the consolidation. So I should have just sold my shares in these candles here, you know, especially because there wasn't a lot of volume. But I saw the consolidation forming, and I saw the high and lows forming, and right in this candle, I sold my shares. So once I saw this volume come in, I saw like the biz and the assets accelerate. You always sell into strength, guys. You don't sell into weakness. You want to sell into strength. That's where you get covered. That's how you get executed quickly. And I got executed at like, I think it was like 1350, in the 1350, 1354, 1355. Like all my shares got covered. Boom, right there. And I think I made like, I don't know, like 780 or somewhere between I don't remember the exact amount. I think it was like 780 or 8 something, somewhere in that range. That was it, guys. You know, I sold my shares. Now it could have continued to go up, but you know, again, it's below the 200-day moving average. It's below the 300-day moving average. It's below VWAP. You know, so you know, and then it just continued to tank. You know, in theory, like I you know, I was done playing this. But in theory, once I saw it fail, I could have shorted right in here again and took it down. But I didn't look at it. Now, at this point, look, it breaks below the 1280 and that 1270.61. This next candle here, you see how the whole candle is below it now. This candle, you know, it closed below it, but it's still above it when it opened. So this gives me the more confidence that, you know, it's going to continue to go down. But sure enough, it found its support here at 11.99. And then it squeezed and all the shorts covered, and that's when you got that break, you know. So here you see you got that double bottom right there, and that's when short said, oh shit, let me get out. And that's when they all started taking their shares, because at this point it's what time is it at this point? It's 3:10. People don't want to hold this over the weekend. They're like, fuck that, I just want to get out, take my money and run. That's trading psychology, guys. That's how that works. Now the other one that I posted on, on Twitter, and then we'll talk about the rest of the stocks. Was AMTX, all real time. All right, this is the shit that gurus be, you know, like they post like and brag. I'm doing this shit on Twitter like for fun, and I'm posting what I think could potentially happen. All right, look at AMTX. If AMTX can stay above VWAP and break above the 50 SMA, should run again. Still a lot of buyers holding. If it breaks below 2, then it should tank, right? So AMTX, right? And then I was being sarcastic here, guys. I'm just joking. And I put, what a day. Oh my God, Omar, you know, watchotrade chat room is amazing. Joining back. Because that's what a lot, and I'm just being sarcastic because I see a lot of people who are in chat rooms, like if they make one trade, you know, they're all posting and acting like they're making millions of dollars when they're, I guarantee you, all losing. And they make one trade and they want to be acknowledged by the guru, so they'll retweet or post or whatever. It's all bullshit. Anyway, so let's talk about that. AMTX. Now, why was I so confident? Well, I wasn't confident, but why did I think there was a chance that this stock can have a second push? Well, for one, like the stock went from $1, and at this point, the higher day I think was right here. Let's remove this candle. Let's remove this line. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this better. So at this point, this is the higher day. I think, where was it? This was his highest point, 250, right? Whole number, psychological resistance barriers, right? We talk about that. There was no coincidence that it had a high of 249 actually. All right, so it starts gapping down, right? Goes up, right? Forms some. Right here forms some support, gaps back up, tests that 249, 250, can't hold it, right? Consolidates sideways here again, and, you know, breaks below it. Now, it breaks below this. Now, if you zoom in here, the reason why I thought that there was a possibility that this can run was because this is VWAP, right? And it's holding, bulls and bears are fighting, but it's showing this consolidation. When you see consolidation like this, a lot of times you're going to see another push, and what that tells me is that people aren't like they're not like you know, they're not in a rush to take their profit, right? Because you had to get all these buyers, right, in order for it to drive the price of the stock up. So when I see it hold VWAP like this, VWAP is acting as support. And I see that clear 20, so we have, it's 209, 208 is holding. So you see how it gets down, it gets to 208, 208, 209, 208. And then right in here, you start seeing some, you know, you see the support here, but then you see like right here, it gaps down, but it holds. And then that next candle, I see that it's starting to get some volume. That's telling me that this thing is ready to rip. It's Friday. And short sellers are covering. They've been holding for the week. And Friday is like, that's what I call squeeze day. That's the day where stocks tend to like rip. So, and right in here, you know, I felt comfortable to say that this stock was going to move. So right in this candle, I bought. All right. I went long. All right. And sure enough, you know, I see tremendous volume coming in. And you see how the volume's fading here? See, there's less volume, but all of a sudden you see tremendous volume coming in here. Look at that, 245,000 shares on a 1 minute time frame. That's telling you that buyers are coming in. They're gonna take this shit up. And you see how it gaps up. It touches that, you know, it breaks it for a second, but look what happens. It pulls back, and now what you see here, guys, you see a higher low. It's for another channel. This is telling you that there's gonna be some support, and other traders are looking to see if it holds. It has that pull back, it forms that higher low, and this is showing you that there's a change coming, and boom, you got that huge volume push, and it took it up, you know, and it just ripped, you know, it ripped. I actually sold in this candle here. You know, I got executed like in the 290s. I think it was like 295, and then it pulled back, and you know, you could have, when it formed a higher low here and you start seeing the volume come in again, you could have took another crack at this, risking at least this. So you could have bought here at 268, risking the high at that point, which is $3, and sell before, either test it to see if it tests it or sell. Remember, sell into strength, guys, because if you get greedy, look what happened. People were holding, think, oh, this is going to keep going, and look, it tested, and then it pulled back. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Now, what you could have done was, if the shares were available and you see that it can't hold $3, you could have shorted right in here, risking that higher day, expecting people now to want to take their profit because it's Friday. And you know, it's Friday, and people, yo, I want my money. And you could see that I had this it tests eventually here that's 200 simple 200 moving average, and it can't hold it. That's when you know, boom, that's when everybody got out, and it came down. That's it, guys. It's not rocket science. It's simple support and resistance. You don't need 40 indicators. You don't need all this MACD and RSI and all this other shit that I used to use. Not that it does. It's not helpful. That I'm seriously. What happened to me when I went into my slump last year? I was looking too much at that shit, and it was swaying my decision making in trading. So what I noticed is that all the traders who make a lot of money trading don't use them. They just use VWAP, and they use simple moving averages. And some of them don't even use simple moving averages. They use VWAP, support and resistance. When a stock's above VWAP, it's bullish. When a stock is below VWAP, it's bearish. That's it. You know, I like them because I see that there's a lot of I've done a lot of back testing, and a lot of times, especially the simple 200 moving average, when stocks touch it and break it, that means there's gonna be big washes. All right. So that's it, guys. Those are my trades. That's simple. And I don't post my P&L, but trust me, I'm making as much as your favorite gurus. All right. But just so you know. All right. Now these were the stocks on my watch list. I just want to simply talk about support and resistance, just looking at a stock to see how they moved. So, right, I mapped out, so these were the stocks on my watch list for yesterday. These were the simple support and resistance levels that I placed. Now, right, 370 was the high on Thursday. Stock, look what happens, touches this. Next day, it was the 15th, no, this was the 16th. Starts gapping down. What happens? What happens? Market opens. Look at this. Gaps up, forms tops here, and starts pulling back, showing weakness. You could have shorted the stock, risking off the high of 370 yesterday because it couldn't get back, and held this all day. Look at this shit. And look what happens, guys. Stocks pulls back. 354, right, was a clear support low. Look what happens. Holds it, gaps up. 362 was a previous resistance level. Look, can't break it. Breaks below it. Breaks down. Look what happens. The previous support level 341 breaks above it. Can't hold the 354 level. Breaks below it. Look at this. Gap sideways. Can't break above that 354 level, and you could have took this tanking. And look what happens, guys. You could look how it plays off the key support resistance levels. You think I'm making this up? Look. I didn't map these out. Yes, I mapped these out based on what happened Thursday. I didn't map these out in real time. This is all the stock was doing, playing off key support and resistance levels, guys. You can buy dips for bounces. Like in theory, you could have took a bounce. Like you could have bought a dip here, playing off that 341 level, and see that once it got rejected by 354, got out. CVEO. Let's see what happened on this stock. Right? These were the key support and resistance levels that I mapped out on Thursday for Friday. Look what happens. Stock opens. Look what happens. Pulls back. Can't hold 411. You could have took a short risking at 411. Look at this. This is the previous close price. It gaps above it, but look what happens. It kind of gets to that 399 level, gaps up. Now there's no volume here, but I just want to show you how the stock plays off key support and resistance levels. Look at this. 399 was that key support level here. It touched 399 and gapped back up. Now this is a shitty stock. I would never have traded this. But to just show you, look how it can't break above that 407 level, which was a level that I mapped, right? Based on Thursday's level. See? 407, when it closed on Thursday, it held that 407 level. That was a clear support level. Well, now support acts as resistance the following day. And you could take a short based off that. Now, that's why I tell you it's super important to map your support and resistance levels, guys. And all you do is you take trades based off that. If you look at the yearly and a stock is up, you got to think that people are going to take profit based on that. And you can short based off that premise. That's all it is, guys. That's all stock trading is, Look at KBSF. KBSF, right, is a stock that went bananas Thursday, right? Hit a high of 1170. Came back and held, closed above that key support level 676, which we mapped out, right? Well, market opens, it had a gap to fill below here, 637. Doesn't quite get there, gets to about 654, But once it breaks above that 676 level, you could have took it long, risking off 676, you know? And this thing went up to $8. And look what happens. That 853 level, which was a clear resistance level, was a support level the previous day, acts as a resistance level. So let me zoom out so you can see, right? 853. This was look, and that's why I mapped it, because you can see here, if we looked at it, right, it had this like bounce right off it, and you know, seemed like a key level here. You see how it touched it a few times, or got close to it a few times? That's why I mapped it out, okay, at 853. All right, so once 853 can't hold, look what happens here. It got a high, and this candle was 853. The next candle, look what happens. It hit a high of 853, couldn't hold it. You could have shorted risking off that, you know? I'm just showing you guys that support and resistance is everything, guys. You see how it breaks down, kind of breaks below 676, but guys, you see how it consolidates at that level and went up. Now, I'm not saying you make these trades. I'm just trying to show you how stocks react to these key levels. And those are the key levels that you could potentially make trades off of. AMRS, all right? This hit a high of 749, all right? This thing, right, had a high, look at 701, acted as a key resistance level, right? And 630, right, had a clear support level, 614. Well, the market opens today, and look what happens. Gets above 701, but you see how the candle doesn't break above it? So, you know, you could have took a short risking off that. And look, tests it again. Now, it bounced off the simple 50-day moving average, gets above it for a second here, but it doesn't hold it. So if you take a trade, let's say you would have shorted in here, right? And you see, oh shit, it broke above it. All right, you see that it has that pop, that lower high here. That's showing you weakness, and you could have took your short and held it. Now, if you wanted to, you could have risked off the next high, which was over here, 717, and just I'm sorry, which is 749, which is the higher day, yesterday's higher day, and held this. And you know, you see you get some weakness, and it can't hold that 701, and sure enough, boom, breaks down. All right, and look what happens. It finds support. It breaks, you know, for a second breaks below 630, but it finds some support here, and then you could have bought the dip around this level, risking off that, and then this thing went, you know, tapped up, went as high as 682. But look at VWAP. VWAP acts as resistance, and for a second it got above it, but then it breaks below it, and you could have reshorted it once it broke below VWAP. All right, and it then came back down. Look, guess what it held? 630. You see a clear support level. So maybe on Monday this thing breaks above 630 and runs again. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm just trying to show you guys. BB, right? BB hit a high of 13. Now, yesterday the high was, Thursday the high was 1327. Pre-market, this got to a high of 1336. Now, I didn't map this. I didn't look at it pre-market. But if we look, playing off that 1327 level, look at right at the open, it, you know, bounced off 1320, got above 1327, but it really couldn't hold. And once it couldn't hold this, you could have shorted. Nice easy short, you know. Now look what happens here. It doesn't get back to that, quite to that 1311 level that I have mapped out, but there was clear support here, and it really bounced off this clear support level here, which was at that 1312, 1311 area. Kind of, you know, gaps up, but can't hold that 1327 level. Look, acts as support, acts as resistance, I'm sorry, and then continues to wash. And then look, it breaks below the simple 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average and VWAP, and that's all bearish. And, you know, it just blew through these levels, you see? And because you had that clear level here mapped, and you're looking at the chart, you zooming out, and you're looking at that level, you're like, wait a minute, it can't hold above Thursday's breakout higher day. So I'm short and risking off that once I see it break below it. And that's all it is, guys. That's all it is. And if you look at the yearly, you're like, all right, had a couple of green days. So you expect people to take profit. DXR. Right, we talked about this already. You know, pulls back, kind of finds a support 1280. You know, gaps up. 1666 was a clear support level the previous day. Pre-market, it gaps up, you know, to 1870. But when the market opens, right, look at it, it's forming lower highs all the way down, which is showing you weakness. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to rip. It's just showing you weakness, because here, you know, it forms lower highs, and then it starts gapping up, you know, right before the market opened, but it can't break. You see 1788 is a clear resistance level. It doesn't even attempt it. If you zoom in, look at this. Gaps down, gaps up, and in this next candle, look, touches that. Can't break that 1740 level, and you could have took a short here. Look what happens. Gaps down, bounces off the simple 200 moving average, but can't break that next clear support level 1666 and just continues on its way down. You know, it's bouncing off these clear support. Look, for a second here, look, 1470 bounced off that, but got rejected by the simple 200 moving average, and you could have took this down. Again, each level that was support is now acting as resistance, you know, and you know, and that's all it is, guys. That's all it is. FEYE. Okay, I already talked about this. Map this out. I already talked about this. Why I went short. You could see, you know, I had the 1891 here. Gaps, you know, this is the support levels resistance levels that I mapped out from the previous day. All right, let me zoom out so you can see. That's all I'm doing, and I'm just making trades based off that. All right, just know this: when a stock gaps up crazy and it's up a lot, people are gonna take profit at the open. I call it the morning wash. It's like stocks that there's actually traders. There's this lady, I forget, I found her on YouTube. She has a strategy. That's all she does. Is like she only trades the first 20 minutes of the open, looking for stocks like this to just short at the open, make some money, and calls it a day. I mean, it happens. It's human psychology, guys. It's human psychology. AKCA. All right. I didn't trade this, but look what happens here. Right. I put it on my watch list, and you can see that 29 was the high on Thursday. Well, let's see what happens. Market opens. It has some consolidation. You know, it breaks above it, can't hold it, kind of gaps down. It holds that previous day support, previous day's close price, which is always a support level. You always remember that it's always going to act as a support and resistance level. And sure enough, you know, it kind of can't hold it, but look what happens once it breaks above 29, and you know, it just kind of goes off and running, you know, and you know, this thing got up to $32. All right. Now, in theory, if you're watching this, you're gonna see at some point it's gonna pull back. So let's say you just decided to watch this run, and you see you map out each high. So at this point, this is the high of day, all right, and shorts got squeezed because they probably tried to short it, and then they got squeezed out, and then this point's high of day, so they got squeezed out here, and at this point it's high of day, and they got squeezed out here, and then it hits this high. Okay, now when you see, all right, that it's pulling back, but you get this pop, that is telling you that the stock is going to continue to wash, because now you see how it can't break above this area, all right, which was 3180, which was the previous high, touches it, and then it just washes, and you could have shorted in here. Now, there's not a lot of value here, but I'm just trying to make a point that support and resistance is all that matters, guys. It's all that matters. And look what happens. The stock, you know, gaps all the way back down, you know, finds, you know, its support a little below $29 at this 28 sort of 80 level, and then once it broke above 29 again, you know, you could have took this long for another ride. Now, this is not a lot of volume. I mean, I probably wouldn't play this, but I'm just trying to make a point. And then look at those key levels now that we mapped out. Those previous highs, support now becomes resistance, resistance then turns to support. And you see, look how it consolidated at that 3048 level, which was at some point was a high day, and then it continues to go. All right, that's all it is, guys. That's all it is. All right, Casa. Let's look at the last two. Let's see what happened here. Casa, all right, had a high, right, 34.43. I had a clear support level at 38.58. Market opens. What happens? It starts breaking below VWAP, below the simple day moving average. You see this pops. It can't get above VWAP, so it starts tanking. Tanks below the previous day's close price. Now it's red on the day. Okay, now right here I had a 30.58, which was the clear support level, which coincidentally was yesterday's previous close price. Right in this candle, when you saw it break, it couldn't break above. You could have went short, you know. And look at this pop. You getting the pop and you getting the pullback. That's telling you more weakness. You could have just shorted this, especially when it broke below 32.63. Look at that. You gotta form the higher low. I mean lower high. No. Yeah, higher low. Sorry. No. Lower high. So I get mixed up. You see these pops. You can short into these pops, and then you can risk off the previous high or the previous support level or resistance. Now that becomes a resistance level. You see, each one of these key levels you could have shorted, and at some point it's going to find some support. It's going to test. Shorts are going to cover, and then you get the spike. You just got to have the patience to watch the stock. You know, it's really what it comes down to. When you get a tank like this, you're going to get at some point a bounce because shorts are going to cover. But you just gotta have the patience to watch when you see that clear support level. You see how it's kind of popping, but now it's not breaking down. And that's when shorts are like, shit, it found a clear support level. I see the buyers coming in and the shorts are covering, you get the squeeze. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. Look, and it couldn't even hold that previous support level, which now acts as resistance. You could have reshorted. Qualcomm was another one I had on my watch list because it was up so much. And you know, it already had tanked so much, pre-market. But in theory, if you want to see, it kind of breaks above it here, can't hold it. In theory, you could have took it short, breaks above it. Look at this, can't break that clear support level. Could have reshorted there, and it just doesn't want to get above it. And it's below the 300 moving average, the 200 moving average, the 50 moving average, which is all very, very bearish. And then what happens when the market closes? All the shorts covered. They're like, I want to hold this shit all weekend, and that's what caused this spike. That's why I always cover. I don't like to hold anything overnight, over the weekends. It's not in my nature. All right, guys. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I'll make another video building my watch list. But I just want you guys to see that. That's why it's important to map out your key support and resistance levels to know where to get a trade. You can watch every DVD on earth, guys, but nothing will, like, there's no training to tell you when to pull the trigger. That's something you're just gonna have to develop on your own. And when you don't see the key setups, guys, don't make the trades. All right, just stay away. Just stay away. Tomorrow's another day. If you make trades just like with no strategy, no plan, not understanding what you're looking at, no clear support and resistance level to trade off of, you're just gonna lose all your money. And I guarantee you that most of these traders that you see, okay, are losing all their money. Why do you think, right, all these guys join these chat rooms, right? They pay a monthly subscription, right? And then they lose all their money. And then the guru says, oh, come become part of my inner circle. Join the trading challenge. They all do it. Investors Underground, Warrior Trading, Tim Sykes. And you'll see a lot of these other newer guys doing it. You'll see deck mark trades. He'll probably do that shit soon too. And because it's a money grab, It's all it is. It's a money grab. If you can't do it being, joining the group, why would you pay more money to lose more money? Like, they're not gonna tell you anything different that I'm telling you. The best thing you can do is, the internet is the greatest invention probably ever. All right, make connections and friends and start a chat room with your friends. Open up a Discord room and work as groups and help each other. That's the way to do it, guys. All right. So anyway, happy St. Patty's Day. Hope you found this helpful. Please let me know if this makes sense. Like, subscribe, and share. And have a great weekend.